It's the next day here, and we've started stripping on this wiring already. I forgot to record some of it, so I had to jump in now. But anyway, all I'm doing here is just everything that's connected to the firewall in this cab, I'm disconnecting from the frame. So there was a wiring harness that came here, and I've got it all unplugged. Pretty simple stuff. If you guys are doing this job, I'm sure you can figure all this out. But everything just follow the wires, unplug everything. Pretty simple. Over here we had the heater core hoses going in and the wire going to it. Another wiring harness here that came up to your starter solenoid and a bunch of other stuff. I just disconnected everything from it, and everything that goes with the engine I've just draped up there on the engine. That way we can cover it up with plastic and maybe protect this engine while we got it parked around back for a little while. So we have almost got everything disconnected from that firewall there. I've got to disconnect these brake lines here and disconnect the steering stuff, and go inside and take the gauges out, or take the gauges out and disconnect this the speedo cable going to the transmission, and we'll get it up there too. And after that, we'll jump inside and start stripping out the interior on this one. So I'm going to put the video on and let you guys just watch as I move around real fast. Alright, just a little tip. In my experience, whenever you're taking these brake lines off, let's see here, whenever you start to twist it, if you watch, it's going to twist this line too, where they've kind of grown together over time. So it's going to twist that and snap that off. So just kind of hang on to this and hold it and watch it, and I just kind of work it back and forth a little bit. Let me tighten that back up. Work it back and forth a little bit at a time. It was trying to twist it at first, but if you do a little back and forth and just breaker free, maybe spray some WD-40 in there too. That'll help. Spray that in there and just work it back and forth a little at a time, up and down, and you'll be able to get that thing out without breaking that line. Alright, that seat is out of there. It was pretty easy. I think it was, dang, I don't even remember. I think 14mm bolts. There was 2 here, and there was 2 on that side, and then there were 2 here, and 2 on that side. They all came out pretty easy, except for this one up in there. It was an F. So, alright, we've got that out. I pulled that radio out and got those speakers out of the way. And I guess I'm going to pull this gauge out next and disconnect the speedo cable. Oh, I got crap on my hands. It must be from this morning. Alright, so we'll pull that gauge out, get that speedo disconnected, and I think about everything is disconnected that we need. But before I pull this cab off, I am going to try to cut this dash out and everything while it's in place right here. That way I don't have to fight it off, and I think it just might be easier to cut this dash out here. If not, then we'll try another way. So let's get it. Okay guys, we got all 637 screws out of these gauges here. So we set them to the side. We're going to try to jiggle this thing out here. Looks like it's a 2-piece. So, and I think you do have, you might not have to, but yeah, I think you do got to take off all 637 screws, the outside ones and the inside ones, because this piece kind of stays in there, I think. No, I'm wrong. So maybe you don't have to take out all those screws. Alright, whatever. We're in here now. I'm going to get around back and see what I need to do to disconnect this speedo cable. Okay, it looks like it just, looks like it has a nut on it and it just twists right off. So I'm going to go get a wrench and we'll get that off. Okay, we brought a whole gang of wrenches just in case. We're going to make sure we get the right size. We'll start with, okay, not that one. Not that one. Okay. It's a 3/4. 3/4. However, mine was loose enough. Seems like I can just turn it with my dang hand. I could just turn that with my hand. So maybe you should try that first before you go get a gang of wrenches. It's tight like a tiger in there. Okay, it's out. Speedo cable's out. Let's go around to the front, pull that thing out of there. All right, that's this black wire right here running into the firewall. So we'll take that, get it pulled through, maybe. There we go. All right, it's out. So that goes to your transmission, and it screws into the side of your transmission, and that's for your speedometer. We're going to take that and tuck that to the side over here with this motor, and we'll go back inside. Now we're going to finish getting these gauges out because we're going to have to get up in there to do this work. I might want to go ahead and drop that steering column, but we'll just fight around it for now. Let's see how many plugs are hooked up to this gauge. All right, looks like 2. Looks like we've got, whatever this thing is, got a big plug here. All right, we got it. So let's pull it out now, I think. Yeah, she's free. So you can see here, there's one plug here, a big one, and then like a ground cable, or I don't know what it was, but there was an extra one right there. We've got that out. We'll take that and this bezel back over there and put it back together. That way we can store it safely. We got that dash out now, got the steering column. The steering column wasn't too bad. There were 2 bolts here. There was a plug somewhere in here that plugged into the steering column. And then I've got it sitting right there. There were a few bolts on this plate up against the firewall right here. You can see there's a couple bolts here and a couple on the inside. And then there was a little a bolt right there on this thing. Let's see. It was right here on this end, this spline shaft. Take that bolt out and that whole thing slid right out. Comes right through the hole in the firewall. If you've got the shifting linkages, they're just kind of hanging down there right now, but mine had the little, like this right here. This was up here for your shifting. This just slides in a bushing, and there's like a little little clip. You can see it goes on right there. They go on right here, you know, for your little shifters. So you'll pull that clip out, pull that through. There's 2 of them. And then that son of a gun will come right on out. Now as far as the dash, I think there were 4,000 bolts holding that down. There was like 2,000 across the top and about 2,000 bolts up inside there. They weren't too bad to get to. But you do have to pull out your gauges. We've already done that. I dropped the glove box, took out the liner, a bunch of Phillips head screws, like 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, 1 on each side, so on. We pulled that out. And the radio, we pulled it out, and you're able to get up in there and get all those bolts out. And dang, I like the way that dash looks with that dash pad off there. You would have to, you know, patch up your holes right here, but man, that looks a lot better. I don't know why they didn't just leave it like that instead of putting a dash pad on it, because those dash pads always crack up. Anyways, looking good. We've got the seat out now. We've got all that stuff, dash pad off. I'm going to start thinning some of that crap out of there, and then we're going to see if we can't remove this whole dash. In a video I have watched, it says you got to take out the windshield. I'm going to try my best to not take out the windshield. I know the windshield's cracked and we need to change it out, but that's for a later project. If I do have to take it out, then we will. But I'm going to try my best not to for now. So it is lunchtime. I'm going to go get some lunch, and then when we come back, we'll start cutting out this dash. I took a little break to update you guys. As you can see, we have got that cab detached and up in the air. Pretty simple process. I don't know if I've done any talking since we cut the dash out, but we cut the dash out. It wasn't too bad. I seen in one video the guy said you had to take out the windshield. Probably would have made it easier, but it sounds terrible, but I knew the dash was going to be cut anyway, so I just cut the heck out of it. Cut it in little pieces, got it out of there, made it a lot easier than taking out the windshield. So you guys can't see in there right now. Let's see. Yeah, we got the dash out. She's stripped in there bare. We've got most of the stuff cut actually already. I cut most of it while it was still on the frame. You can see, let's see right there, I've already cut all the way across, all the way down and back a little bit. Actually, this side right here, I've already done all the way down the door jamb, all the way down it. See if you can see here. Oh, right there, it's cut all the way down. I just went straight down the edge right there. That's what I've seen in the other videos. And if we got to trim it up later, we will. But we've got her up. Look at there. How cool. There was 4 body mounts holding this. You can see there are 2 right there, and there were 2 up front on the inside of the cab under the gas tank. There'll be 1, 2, and then around here on the front, there's a spot here. I think a 10 millimeter took that little cover off there and there, and it was like an 18 or a 19 millimeter or something. One on the top, one on the bottom. Took them off, and she's free. Lifted right up. This is my first time actually taking the cab off, so pretty cool. Actually very easy. So that's probably gonna do it for tonight. I am tired. I've been here cutting and working all freaking day. I am wore out, so we'll catch you guys back tomorrow. We're probably gonna finish cutting out that firewall and the floor, get it all cut out. We're actually gonna roll this thing on out and get it around back. I think we're done with that part. And then we'll cut this out, start trimming everything up. We'll move the town car out, back in, and start fitting stuff back together. Yeah, go ahead. Get in there. All right. Let's see what happens. Pull it over your way in. Is it better to pull it that way?
Get on here, over here and pull it.
Yeah, pull that pillar while I'm going forward to slide. Okay, y'all saw me just pull that floor pan out. Man, that thing was pretty heavy by myself. So to give you a quick rundown what we got going on so far, I just followed like everyone else. Followed this lip all the way around as tight as I could get it. All the way around, and you can see down the door. Kept it straight all the way down. I think I might have to do something here. Looks like maybe the guys are cutting at this round, at this part here, straight across. I just cut this chunk out now so that I can get in here and work, because it was hard with it on the lift to open the doors and squeeze in. So we've got this out. She's pretty tight all the way against the wall. I may have to take this down a little bit more. I'm not sure yet. Might be able to leave that so we have a little lip to put our metal on. So I think I've already got this cut here. So it looks like we got to cut this hump out and like maybe about 1.5 inches away from this wall all the way down here, and we'll get this chunk out, and then we'll start cleaning up all of our edges, grind all this down, get it looking good. Up here where the dash was at, we'll grind that down there, and hopefully that's all gonna work. So I got to figure out how to get these windshield wiper motor out of here. I'm hoping to somehow integrate this in with the system. I know other guys have done that too. Don't ever work out, I don't think, but we'll see what we can do. All right. Oh yeah, I can take this bolt off here and it'll take this whole motor off. All right, cool. So floor pan out right there. Man, that thing is solid. I feel so bad for cutting this truck up. Look at that. Super solid. Got the logo there in the middle. Very cool. I'm probably gonna cut this out, maybe save it hanging on the wall or something cool. But we've got it out. We're gonna keep on cutting. All right, guys, our bag setup is here. Came in yesterday. I unboxed a couple pieces. We got a bunch of fittings here. I think this is all the valves, bags, 6-gallon tank, hoses. Got the whole kit here. I think it was like $1,100 bucks, $1,200 on eBay. Those are 2600 series bags, fixing. So we'll see how it works. Seems pretty good. I watched a couple reviews on it. So in fact, I've already installed the front side here. I didn't record any of that just because it was kind of a learning process. It was my first time doing this, and there was a bunch of cuss words involved, a whole bunch of tools. So I ordered this kit right here also from Amazon. No, eBay, one of them. It's the same on all of them. They all look the exact same. Same reviews. I'll bring them over here and show you. Same reviews on all of them. Where this couple of these bolts holes are off. Everybody on the review said the same thing. When you put it in there, none of them match up. I think maybe one. You got to drill out here and a little over there. No big deal. But everything else lined up perfect. And all the review, or not reviews, but in all the descriptions I seen for every one of these, it said you could use it only with the aluminum lower control arm bracket on these cars. But so far it worked. I don't have the aluminum lower control arm. I have the steel one, and it worked. Everything lined up. It was really easy on that side. So the only thing I had to do, like I said, was drill out a couple holes there. I held it up in place, and I'm going to show you this on video too, but I'm going to give you a little explanation real quick. Just held it up in place, marked the holes through the top where they needed to be, got it out, drilled them, and then so I connected I got the fittings for this over here that came with the package. I'll put that on, and then you go ahead and connect it all together with your bolts. All the bolts that came with those brackets don't fit. I had to go to Lowe's and get some bolts. So anyway, you just bolt, put your air fitting through there, and it bolts on, and then your bag goes, and it's like this right here. This goes where the bottom of your shock was, and then it just compresses and goes like that. Pretty simple. Had to take off a bunch of stuff up here. For me, it was easier. Well, I'll just show you on video when I do it. But this is what it looks like all the way down. It gets pretty low. You can see in there where it lined up, you can see the fittings. I still got to run the air lines and stuff, but that's with it all the way down. Good clearance. Nothing's rubbing when you turn, so everything seems pretty legit so far. So I'm gonna set the camera to the side. I'm gonna drill these out and get that bag bolted up to this and get the fittings on and stuff, and then I'll set the camera up and we'll just tear this thing apart and install that one. All right, we've got the wheel off. Now, one of the first things we're going to do is go ahead and take this tie rod end off. That'll allow us to turn our wheel around and get some room in here. Okay, so sometimes this thing will just keep spinning and spinning with your socket. So the thing that I do is I'll get a jack under this tie rod end and jack up on it a little bit and just create some pressure, and it'll keep that thing from spinning. Then it should zip right out of there. There we go. Jack it up just a little bit, put that pressure on there, was able to zip that son of a gun right off there. So we're going to lower the jack down now and pop out this lower tie rod. All right, we've got that off there now. So now if you look around to the back of the caliper, there's two bolts, one up top, one down at the bottom. I think it is I think it's an 18 millimeter. It is. And by the way, that tie rod right there was also an 18 millimeter. So now that we've got that off, see, you can turn this a lot easier. So we'll turn it that way so we can get room to it. Twist it around. Zip that thing off there. Okay, next we're going to take out this lower, your strut, your shock bolt down here. It is a 24 millimeter. So there's one bolt on there, or one nut. We'll take that off. You don't have to worry about nothing on this side over here. It's got like a little catch so it won't turn. So just zip this son of a gun out, tap that bolt out. All right, now at this point, we've got that bottom bolt out. There are three up top that's going to hold this strut on here. So we'll zip these things out. They're 13 millimeter. All right, we've got those out. Nothing's free in there now. So the next step for me was I took this lower ball joint nut off. I'm not sure what size it is. Let's see. It's this same 24. So let's zip that thing off there and pop this up, and then we'll be able to pick up this knuckle right here and swing it out of the way and lift up on this and pull that shock out of there. All right, sometimes the jack trick don't work. You can keep jacking on it and it's going to keep spinning. With it, you know, the ball joint, sometimes when you're taking that nut off, the whole joint will spin. So if you run into that issue, the next way to fix it is if you look up inside there, it's like a star bit or something like that, or like a hex bolt. So somewhere around here, I've got one right here. It'll go up in there, and I'll hold that still and then put you a wrench on here and just spin it around. Mine was tough as heck to get off, so hit it with the torch for a second, and she'll come right off. Okay guys, we got that disconnected there from that lower ball joint. I kind of just shimmied up on it and pulled it up and got it out. And then you seen there, we just kind of fought with the spring, kind of stepping there, pushing down. I loosened up those bolts a little bit. You might not have to, it just makes it easier. It's like a 3/4 inch, loosen it up, it'll allow it to come up, and then tighten it back down and it'll hold it up, give you some room. So we've got it all opened up and out of there. I did take out, I don't know if you guys seen me take out the bolt there for the track bar and drop it out of the way. We're gonna have to maybe relocate it. I noticed the this piece right here that sticks in, like stabs almost right into the bag there on the side. So I just removed it for now, and we'll figure out maybe another way to mount that on there. So now that we've got that out of the way, I will show you this kit. Drops in. You want to put the flat side towards the engine. So there's a slanted side on the front, the bolt holes on the front, the slanted side or the flat side goes towards the engine. It's going to go in here where the bottom of that shock came out. Just drops right in place. The bolt goes back through, snugs down. Your bag is going to set and your bolt's going to come through the bottom and tighten onto it. And then this other piece right here, same thing. It goes up in this pocket right here. But like I was telling you, those holes don't match up. So get it up in there in place where it's going to go. And then mark your holes where they need to go. See there? And then drill them out and then it'll go back in place. So we're going to go ahead and mark these holes, drill them out, and then I like to go ahead and assemble this thing. I get the bag and the fitting all hooked up and everything on it in one piece, and then we slide it in one piece just like the shock and bolt it down. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, we've got this thing together now. See how I was talking? This thing goes on the bottom, that goes up top, your little fitting fits up the top. There's 2 holes in the bag for your bolts to go in, and 1 in the bottom for the bolt to go in. And then it just sets in there just like the shock did. Alright, we've got that bag in there. You can tell it took a little bit of finagling to get it in there, but we got our 3 bolts on, and I went and snugged this down. It's easier to snug this down a little bit more in place. Once you get it in place, you can really get a grip on it. And then down here, we've got the bolt that goes through the lower bracket there. So we've got to swing this out now. We're going to put a jack under that and jack it up so that way we can get that ball joint there back into that spot. And we'll start putting this thing back together. Okay, everything's back installed. She fits in there nice and smooth. Here's everything except for that bar right there I was talking about, where it comes in and it kind of pokes into it. But we'll deal with that later. So she's sitting good. We're going to put the wheel back on, lower the lift down, and then we're going to jack up all 4 corners and individually pull these arms out. Just because I know on that side I had to do it over there earlier. So it's very low. I'm excited to show you guys. Let's get it down. Okay, she's down all the way. You can see that's pretty low. We're like 2 inches from the ground. The back's up obviously, but we're gonna fit the bed and everything to make it all work. I haven't done the back yet. It's just with the stock bag's completely out, it's just sitting down. So I assume it's probably gonna be the same. She's down there. All right, now we're gonna start trying to cut in the back bags and get them mounted. All right, we're getting super close. It probably slipped right on there, but my main problem is my lift. I tried to go above it and hook a strap to it and pull up, but by the time it bottomed out doing all that, it only got it like maybe 2 or 3 feet off the ground. So now we're right here, and the only way to hold this cab is to go under it, and now I'm starting to set here. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out something. I might put me a jack stand here and here, see if I can get this lift off. We'll come back up and see if we can't pick it up, and maybe that extra little 3 feet will clear us enough to roll this thing back and forth and get it on. But she's coming in pretty smooth. You can see where we shaved that wall down right there. It's fitting in pretty smooth. I did have to take the little air cover, little air conditioner thing there out because we were hitting that. Over here, she's clearing really smooth, looking good. So, and it looks like I think I did cut my floor pan a little too far in, so it's okay. I've got the scrap piece out there. We'll cut it and we'll butt it back up and make it right. But here we are, we're getting close. She's almost there. I'm gonna set the camera down and I'm gonna try to figure out something with this and see if we can't get her down a little bit more. Okay. Whoa, she slipped down a little bit. This is first attempt right here of setting it down. So far everything's pretty smooth. It went all the way down in the front. You can see she's looking good. You can see where it looks like it was supposed to fit in there. Looks clean. She is slammed all the way down right now. So the back end's jacked up a little bit because we still have not, we got to cut out the notch here for the frame rail here, and that'll allow it to set down the rest of the way. But man, she's on there. That wasn't too bad. So I don't know this guy, but Little Boy Customs, I watched his YouTube video on YouTube, and I followed along with everything he did. He did an excellent build. Don't pay attention to his first videos because he starts showing you a couple cuts and stuff, and then about the 4th video he realized he messed up and he had to recut some more stuff. So jump into about the 3rd or 4th video where he's actually having to cut everything out. So I think he had to put his cab on, it seemed like 15 or 20 times. So I watched his mess ups and that helped me. So now my very first time, she's clearing really good thanks to him. So if you missed out on anything on my video, head over to his videos and check that out. He has a very, very thorough, what the heck am I dripping here? Oh, coolant from the radiator. He has a very thorough video on how to get it to this point. Thanks to him, like I said, I'm here because of his pointers. So, and basically everywhere I showed you to cut is what he says on his, but he goes in a little bit more depth on his. So we'll look inside here. She's setting up pretty good. You can see the big gap we got up the dash still. I know all that's supposed to clear up once we get this back end dropped. And I didn't cut that bed out or that floorboard too short, just a little short. And some other guys said that they cut it out, moved this hump forward and joined it. So it might be what we do then. All right, so I really don't know what to do from here. I think I might try to raise this up, see if we can't snatch this from the top and give us a little bit of relief just so we can hang it, cut some things, because I can see a few spots that need to be cut out. And we're going to keep on working at it. All right, time for a little update. I have been slacking the last few days, guys. I haven't been filming much, but I have been working away on this thing. Doing really good. We've got the cab set down all the way. I've only had to pull it off maybe about 47 times, but it's only because, like I said earlier, Little Boy's Customs, his video, if you cut where he said, fits on perfect, but I'm trying to body this thing all the way down to the ground, so I've had to do a bunch of pulling it on and off and cutting here and there to get everything. But that's her aired up right now, about 75%. It's up pretty good. I've got some other video clips I think I posted in where it's all the way on the ground. So it's all the way. That's aired up about 75%. We've got the cab coming out here. You can see everywhere I cut. I had to notch up about 9 inches for that right there, for it to set all the way on the ground. So about 9 inches on both sides. We've got our bag stuff in, and I got this little kit right here just so that we can test everything. It just tees in. You hit it with your air compressor, and it'll lift it up. So that way we can test. We got that on the back and the front. We've just cut the heck out of everything, man. Cut the heck out of the dash. I've got it laying down real good. It's coming down all the way on there. We test fit the dash in yesterday. It fits in perfect. So Let's see, as far in the front, I think I mentioned earlier videos we were going to have to cut this. I think in Little Boy Customs he did cut this notch out on his, maybe a few others. I did not have to on mine. I just kept angling at the firewall on the Crown Vic in there until I got it shaped down, so that way we didn't have to notch anything out there. And I've got her all the way sitting on the ground. Not right now, but when it's all the way down, it is all the way down. You can see the little brackets or the little air things here, so we can air up the front also. She's looking good. We've actually, we test fit the front. The front pretty much bolts right on. Lines right up, bolts in, everything's good, everything fits. Not a lot of people talked about this, so really the best place to get your center for your wheel in the fender. It's really tough to line everything up because stuff has to line up with that firewall too, or you know, you got to kind of just go where you can. But the best spot that I've seen is if you can get this spot of your truck right here about straight with this right here on the firewall of the car. That way when you cap all this in right here, just they're about the same. You can see this is tucked back just a little bit. This front hip right here is hitting it. That's about where you want to be on both sides. You want to make sure you got the same gap, you know, in there. A couple fingers in there, maybe a couple fingers fit in there. But you can see again over here, you know, we're lined up with this metal from the firewall to the Crown Vic. So that's about as far as you can come forward, and your wheel starts getting set back in that fender well. Can't go back too much further because you start hitting your firewall to the car. So kind of stuck where you are. Anyway, the gap in the fender there looks really good. So we've got that on. Let me show you what all I've had to do. I cut the front of the frame rails off of the Crown Vic here. I don't know if I got the piece laying around. I do. It's right there. You can see here's that front bar. I've cut off maybe 4 inches, 4.5 inches off of that, and it fits perfect. I did cut it at an angle there. You can see, and it fits in really good. Both sides. As far as now, again, I'm bagging mine, so my fenders have to be completely almost gutted. So you won't have to cut this much on yours if you're not bagging it. But you can see here, my inner fenders are gone. I've cut all the way across there and over on both sides. Over, open this up completely. We took out the radiator. To make everything fit, I had to measure a distance for that radiator, and everything over there was about 32 inches. So from here to there is about 33 inches, and I just cut that hole. There's actually just a little gap right there. You can see where it started. So maybe about 3 inches on this side. Same thing over there, cut that. There's a big bracket that came out here where your core support bolted on. We just cut everything smooth. Everything's just straight smooth in the front, and it's fitting on excellent. I did have to cut, you can see right here is a little notch. When you hold it up to yours, and you'll see you might have something a little bit different, but when you put it in, these lines going to the radiator right here are kind of poking out and hitting that. So I just notched that a little bit. They set in there good. You can't see it, doesn't damage anything. Fits right in there. So if you guys plan on bagging it, if you'll just cut out all your fenders, everything like I did, man, that front just sits right on there and puts bolts on. You can see the white mark right here. I've got to cut that out so that way my wheels will set up in there because they're hitting that. But you know, your bolts right here, everything lines right up, bolts right in. So we've got a lot of work done. See, everything's still in the back's pretty much the same. I have tacked on the back right here, got it welded in place that way our cab don't move forward or backward or left or right, because I've got it exactly where it needs to go. And so about to take lunch. After lunch, when I come back, I think we're going to work on, we went and picked up some metal, so we're going to work on filling this gap right here in on both sides. Once we get that filled in on both sides, because you can see right up in the truck. Once we get that filled in on both sides, we'll be able to go ahead and put that whole front clip on, get it bolted in. It should be good and ready to go on the front. We'll have to fill in our spots on our door jambs. Let me see if I can get this door open. You can see right there where we got to fill in here and up through there and the back. But I really want to get this front done so we get the front clip on, because all she's going to be lacking then is the bed and just welding up some stuff, getting the interior back in. And this project is getting close. All right, let's go have some lunch and we'll get back to it. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this video. We've got a lot accomplished in this video. As you can see, there's a little sneak peek to the side right there. We've got a lot of cool things coming in the next video with the airbag stuff and the interior and getting it painted. So check out that next video. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button.